And we are back another year. Another Nerdos.
We've been together on hiatus, man.
Yes. I'm sorry for the long wait. And we're finally together again. And today we bring you a different show because we're going to talk anything that comes to our minds. And we're going to play a little bit of the new Dragon Ball Z. And hope you guys watch it and see it and like it. So here we go.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit, but then at some point I guess we'll get up and play some rounds.
Yes.
So that we'll get into a little later, but
somebody will have to be the cameraman for that.
Yeah.
Make sure we move that
all
thing
right,
around.
So again, to start us off, cheers.
Yes. Cheers for the New Year's.
Belated
Cheers
New Year.
The scout with.
Yes.
The roll.
Shot of juice. Oh yeah.
Some strong shit right there.
That's some strong Coke.
Some strong Coca-Cola.
So what you guys got? What do you guys want to bring up
Cafe
first?
Patron for
Ray was talking about
Sunday
something.
afternoon.
So I had a couple of things that I want to run by you guys. Before we get into the Dragon Ball stuff, we get into Dragon Ball stuff later. But I think that since the last time we got together, they announced the Disney Fox deal. So we kind of want to get our thoughts.
Like what our thoughts are?
For me, I find it hard, and I'm glad that you brought this up first because I find it difficult how if they're going to try to bring in anything from the X-Men universe or Fantastic Four, I could see better how they can bring in Fantastic Four, not necessarily the X-Men, into the MCU because they're so far behind. You know,
Sure.
How can they bring them into the ongoing story? I mean, I'm sure they can write it into it, obviously, but I'm curious as to how they would write it into it, considering how far they're already going. Like, how can they bring in the X-Men after the Infinity War?
Well, there's a really easy way for that.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is
reality
the reality gem, just brings it together. I mean, that's one of the things that they could do. It could be very easy in that sense.
I guess just because I would have preferred them to have some sort of activity related to what the comic book was, where everybody was involved in the entire Infinity War.
Another thing, though, I mean, you bring it up, but as far as like the Infinity Gauntlet and so forth, but they're going to be doing the Phoenix Saga now too, so maybe she could have something to do with it as far as like.
Well, the thing is that movie's already in the can.
To some extent.
Yeah,
that movie's already done.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean,
my best guess
was done before the deal.
My best guess is that they're gonna play out whatever remaining X-Men movies are in production, which is Phoenix, New Mutants, and Deadpool 2. And then with the exception of Deadpool, because I don't see why Disney would scrap that.
Right.
But everything else is going to get... And then they'll just...
rebooted from there.
Yes.
Maybe.
That would make... To make it fit how most saying, I think that would make the most sense.
I guess the other thing, too, is would you want to see the same actors play
No.
those guys?
Well, I'll tell you...
There's something that I would say.
There are some of
guys to the
them...
MCU.
There's some of them that I wouldn't mind, right? I wouldn't mind the girl who played Storm in X-Men Apocalypse, as much of a dog crap movie as that was. I think Alexandra Shipp was fine. I'm not totally opposed to Sophie Turner as Jean, but if they recast her, I don't mind.
The only one I don't mind,
I never liked him.
Obviously, because I'm biased, is Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Correct.
But I heard...
James McAvoy is fine too.
Character.
Right.
James McAvoy is fine too. So I don't have a problem with those four people.
I saw
Everybody else gotta
with
go.
like their fan cast or whatever put Michael Fassbender as Doctor Doom, which I think would be pretty cool.
That would be cool too.
It would be, but leave him as
I would
Magneto.
like to see him transition.
There's other dudes that they can. We should do that one of these episodes. We should just do a whole fan cast of
fan
them.
I think that would be cool.
But there's other dudes they can have play Doctor Doom. Leave Fassbender as
cast,
Magneto.
and we have to do our draft.
Yeah.
I just think the like from the standpoint of like you guys were saying is that the X-Men franchise has been around for such a long time that for them to catch it up, and then same thing with the MCU, even though they haven't been around as long as the X-Men franchise has been, to kind of catch them both up together is a little weird because they haven't been in it at all. You know what I mean? They haven't mentioned any mutants or anything like that in the MCU to then all of a sudden throw them in there without there being some kind of cosmic thing, again, a la the Infinity Gauntlet, that kind of thing. It's kind of difficult.
I would honestly be okay with them not bringing the X-Men. I'd rather
and just keep it as a separate thing.
I'd rather see...
They absolutely 100%
I'd rather see the Fantastic Four and just have superhumans and the
absolutely 100% not
the outside the spaceship, because also Phase 4 is supposed to be more
cosmic.
Cosmic, exactly.
All right.
No,
Okay.
but absolutely 100% not. The
I just
X-Men,
don't-
the
I
whole,
think
the
they
only,
should put
That was
at
the
least
reason
some
why.
characters
But-
like appearance
I get that
here
was
and
the-
there, you know,
Yeah,
knowing that they are there
maybe
in,
like
the,
a-
in
well,
the universe.
I'll tell you what. I mean, one thing you could do too is, okay, so you've had the MCU established. You could say something that, like, along the lines of, because of all the experimentation and, you know, all the superhuman activity and this and that, now it's caused these naturally occurring
mutations.
power mutations.
Listen, this is
and
how
go
I
from
do
there.
it for sure. The one thing is we don't know who the next big bad is after Thanos, right? We don't have that guaranteed. So the best,
Thanos is gonna be the big bad for like 2 movies. 3
Well, at
movies,
least 2
so
movies.
right?
Then
But I'm saying
beyond
after once Infinity Gauntlet
Well,
and all this stuff is over.
I've heard Secret War. As far as like the Secret Invasion, the Skrulls invasion.
See, but you can't do that without the FF. I'm sorry.
Right.
Right.
So,
But now you can. Now you can bring them into it.
So either your next really big bad is Doctor Doom, which would be
That would be
amazing,
awesome.
Brilliant.
or, right, to your point, you start setting up. You have a situation where maybe at the end of one of these movies, Magneto or Apocalypse or one of these really dope X-Men bad guys comes and just mops the floor with
Right.
everybody and makes it seem that the Avengers and the heroes who are currently existing aren't going to be strong enough to deal with this problem. And then where are we going to go to for help? And then you get the thing I described in the text message that one time. You get that slow fade out of like the trees and da-da-da-da. And then you see the gate. And then it says Xavier School for the Gifted, and that's how you bring my people into the
what's-
universe. Winner, winner,
My
chicken dinner.
You know what's crazy though is that, like, as awesome as Infinity War is gonna be, it's one of those things where, like, once
It's
you've done
bittersweet.
that, once you've done that,
Where do you go from there?
how can you match the level of?
Galactus.
But even that, technically,
he
but
eats
even
planets.
okay,
Yes.
but
And he's not a stupid cloud,
Okay,
hopefully.
but technically, even that. Sorry, go ahead, buddy. Just hit A on that. Technically, even that is not quite to the level of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, but
power level.
it depends on how much of the Infinity Gauntlet's power they exhibit in the movies.
Listen, the other thing that you were
Yeah.
just saying too is
Joseph,
where they can phase from
hit Y.
you know, one thing to the other.
Yes.
You're still not bringing them really together though.
Of course you can. Eventually they'll.
Why?
Well, you, see, because the thing you
If
got
one
to
is
keep in
dying
mind.
out and the other is brought in just to for the
No,
continuation of the
it's not. I'm not
story.
saying wipe them out like they kill them. I'm saying wipe them out like they just get their asses kicked. But remember, there's a lot of built-in storylines they can figure out a way to kind of rewrite. So we were talking about it in the group chat the other day about Captain Marvel and Rogue, right? I don't know what kind of powers they're going to give Captain Marvel in
And
the
there's
movie.
something that we just saw the pictures of the.
Oh yeah, in her suit, and we
Captain
had a
Marvel.
crazy argument about that. You also have
But
the
the
Storm
whole media
and
went
Black
crazy
Panther.
about it.
Yeah, they did.
You also have the Storm and Black Panther marriage, right? Like, there's a lot of elements where you can tie the characters together without necessarily making
So
like a
Black Panther
full
and Storm.
movie. Yeah, and yeah, I'm 100% on board with you. I don't know why everybody went crazy because she was in the green and blue suit. Like,
Esmeralda.
The Emerald.
you know what I first thought when I saw it is because you know how they use green and blue
Yeah, for the
CGI. I was like, oh, maybe that's just what it is. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I
That's what I
Comment
thought. That's what I was thinking. You know, they probably fix it up in production. You
Yeah.
know, like put the red, like kind of like a
As long as they
live
do the-
red.
The Green Lantern suit.
I had read that though about them harkening back to the original Captain Marvel suit
Yeah,
that
look,
was
you-
green
Captain
like that.
I mean,
Marvel.
after
Marvel.
the whole
Marvel.
freak out of it, like you were saying, and people were making a big deal, is you know
Shasta Dave.
you still see that people are gonna compare it to what the original storyline was, and
Yes.
then our buddy David in the group chat's like, oh, you know, the original Captain Marvel was supposed to be a guy. Who cares? They're just bringing in that.
Yeah,
story.
they're just going straight
Just
from
like-
there.
It's just like that.
It's
what
like
they've done with
everything.
every
It's
single
like-
movie.
Yeah,
Every
they've
single-
combined
they're not-
things. They've
They combine
mismatched
things.
stuff.
And we have seen characters that don't have the same powers that they have in the
Certainly.
comics.
And that's why it's okay because it's still Marvel doing it. Unlike the argument that you've always made is that they don't butcher it like the way Fox or
Correct.
Sony has everything else.
Correct.
They can
They've
do whatever
earned
the hell they want.
they've earned
It's
the
their
right
shit.
to do whatever
Right.
they want with their characters.
They can adjust how
Fox
they
and
need.
Sony had no right to do what they did, and obviously didn't do a very good job because you know
They've been
Here we
been
are.
okay for the most part. Like I mean,
Who's been okay?
I mean,
What?
on average, Fox, like the Fox things, as far as like They've been.
Deadpool was Deadpool and Logan were the only two respectable
you didn't
movies.
like the Wolverine?
Okay.
No.
Really like the Wolverine.
No.
I thought the Wolverine was
Trash.
decent.
First of all, that's the
And I
one.
like-
Hold on, that's the one with the ninjas, right?
Yeah.
They left the
when
best
he-
scene out of that whole comic out of the movie.
The Silver Samurai. Was
When he's just dead ninjas piled around him everywhere, and he's a bloody mess. And the first time he goes into a berserker rage,
Right.
they left the best scene out of that comic in that movie. No, unacceptable.
What about-
the weird chick with the huge forehead? Unacceptable.
What about? Hang on, wait. What?
the clairvoyant.
What about X-Men 1 and X-Men 2? You didn't like them?
X-Men 1 was?
I mean, that's really where it started.
X-Men 1 was.
You thought X-Men 1 was bad?
It's horrible.
X-Men 1 was fine for what it was. It's like the same way I feel about Transformers. It was super exciting to see it on the big screen the
Right.
first time. Once you get past that and you get into the dialogue and the casting, dude, Rogue was trash.
I mean,
Yeah.
regardless of time, whether it was 10, 15 years ago or
It
now,
just-
you compare the two and it's just.
Well, the
you
problem is
compare
it just- it
anything
doesn't
from Marvel
hold
to-
up.
Right, it just doesn't hold up.
The time
Black
doesn't
leather
hold up.
outfits were trash. Storm and her. Do you know what happens to a toad when they're destroyed by light?
Yeah.
That's a famous line.
And I love
That's
how
a
they
famous
changed her
line.
accent from the first X-Men to then X2 and all the other ones.
Yeah.
Where she's
Trash.
just regular Halle Berry accent.
Trash. The movies were trash.
She just kept
First
moving.
Class was pretty good the first time I watched it. It was
You didn't like First Class?
It was decent the first time I
first
watched
time.
it,
It was
and then
decent.
with every subsequent watching, I was like, I hate this
I hate
movie.
that fucking movie.
Why is Havoc 20 years older than Cyclops?
Right.
Or
And
30
Days of Future
years
Past is
older.
only good because they brought the two.
Days of Future Past
X-Men
was the
universes
worst.
together.
It was my absolute least favorite one, besides The Last Stand. The Last Stand is a crime.
I thought Days of Future Past was pretty good.
You didn't like this?
No,
movie?
DOFP was. First of all, again, why was it Wolverine centric?
Granted, Well, because he's the main character.
'Cause
He's the
because
top
that's what-
X-Men for.
That's just what
most
they've
people.
made
So
it
then
about.
explain to me what purpose Kitty Pryde and I. First of all, where did Kitty Pryde get powers to send people back in time?
Well, in the original comics, she was the one
That goes
went
back in time, but it's
So-
not from her own powers.
Either way, though,
Number
they,
two,
they changed it only because they wanted
Iceman's
Wolverine to be.
entire sole purpose was to stare at Kitty Pryde the whole time she was glowy thingy Wolverine in the face for the 2 hours. Trash. The only cool scene in that movie was the Magneto with the bars in the Sentinels doing his thing. Trash.
Man, the hate's coming
Damn,
out.
the
Listen,
hate.
No,
if you think I hate Superman,
I do hate.
don't get me started
Oh,
on
don't
how
hate, man.
much I hate these X-Men movies.
I do hate Jennifer Lawrence so as Mystique.
I just
don't-
think
they made her.
Well,
they made
I
her
don't. It's,
too.
it's not so much
they made
her.
Mystique.
It's more they
No,
made
I
a
hate
mistake
her.
with the character.
I hate her. I hate the character. I
don't.
Jennifer
mind
Lawrence
her.
would get it in the buttocks, but
She's fine in that movie.
Look, I don't mind her. It's the character. They messed up the character.
awful job with that character.
Yes,
She's
the
supposed
She's
to
not
be
supposed to be that way.
She's supposed
to
to
be
be yeah, true that. Yes.
She's
Anyway.
supposed to
Consent
be
always.
Like,
So-
like a Scarlet Witch kind of character.
Well, she's supposed to be more of an antagonist and an assassin
and menacing and scary
Yeah.
and devious and cunning and
not I'm the leader of the X-Men.
Correct.
She's not
She would
supposed to
never
be that
go for
way.
that.
She's not
Correct.
supposed to be a mentor. No,
yeah,
no, man.
absolutely not.
Anyway,
trash.
so moving on. What's the next thing? Anything else you guys got?
Well, we never talked about Star Wars and where that's going.
oh Lord.
Oh, but
Punisher.
that's going to be a very long conversation.
By now we all finished Punisher, right?
Yes.
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 Everybody consensus we all liked it.
I
right?
liked it a
The
lot.
second to last episode was my favorite one because it's.
I have an
takes on
opinion
everything.
for that. Do you think the episode before the last one?
Yeah,
you
that's
think
my favorite, I was
you
saying.
think they should have ended there?
To be honest with you, I binged it like bam, 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 bam. So for me, it's hard to divide
I don't
episode
really-
by episode.
I mean, it's been a little while since I finished it too.
I
but-
just finished it last week, so to me, it felt like that could have ended
Yeah.
there. But
Well,
I
how did
could
that
see-
one end? What was the
I don't-
end?
yeah, I don't
It was just
remember.
where he takes on everybody. Where
Yes.
Russo sends in all the guys, and where Punisher and Micro in their base, and he freaking just slaughters everybody.
Right.
And he takes out the
Yeah, but then they don't-
main
but-
CIA guy. He freaking pushes
But then
his
you
eyeballs.
wouldn't see him,
Turn-
messing
Take
up
out
Billy
Russo.
Russo.
No, granted, of course.
Who,
Yeah.
by the
It
way,
would've been okay to have
favorite
it-
character in the series
Yeah,
was
he
Billy
was good.
Russo.
He was very good.
Very
Oh, by a
favorite
million
villain
miles.
favorite villain of all the Netflix shows.
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
I still think Kingpin.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go wrong.
And
with
Kingpin is coming back, and then
Right.
and
Kingpin and
so intense.
and Kilgrave.
So
I really liked Kilgrave too.
I didn't finish watching that, so I couldn't tell you anything else.
And
Okay,
I liked
okay.
Cottonmouth. I didn't like Diamondback and Luke
As-
Cage.
I
But
like-
yeah, I'd
I
say
like-
Billy Russo's probably second.
I like Kilgrave, but I think they made a mistake killing him.
I think he's gonna be back.
Yeah.
I've seen some of like the pre-production set
Apparently-
photos from
apparently-
Yes,
Jessica
but
Jones.
Flash-
I seen it too, but I
Oh,
think
are they?
I think a
That's one
flashback.
thing I read.
Oh, okay.
I read the flashback. So
yeah, he's just like in her memory.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
he's
I didn't
like-
read. I didn't read the
he's
details. I just saw the
haunting
pictures and I was like, oh, maybe he's still there.
yeah. So it's like,
But I would say Billy Russo's probably second to Kingpin. He was.
yeah.
Yo,
I
that
would- I
scene
would
with
say
his
that,
old
at least from
lady.
what I've seen in the
That
Marvel
scene with his
universe.
old lady was.
you know what? You know the pace of the series as soon as it start, and you see this guy doing a sniper on like from another country,
from like a mile away.
from another country, and shooting this Mexican warlord
Yeah,
from
that was
another
pretty
side.
awesome.
You know the series is gonna be.
But
Really
what
good.
was cool about it, and I think what's cool about at least the series aside of Daredevil is that they're not costumed heroes. So it kind of sets it apart from like the typical, tight,
MCU stuff.
tights,
And the other series that are coming out is Heroes for Hire too. The Luke Cage,
Luke Cage and Iron Fist?
Yeah,
I heard
I
they
had something I
canceled
wanna talk to you guys
they
about.
canceled Luke Cage. I had read that somewhere.
What?
Nah.
What?
Yeah.
Luke Cage season 2's coming out soon.
Is it? I had read. Maybe I read it wrong, but I
Yeah, because
read that they
the
all have
season
season
two,
two.
the season 2 is supposed to be
Heroes for Hire.
Correct. I don't think they're doing a Heroes for Hire series.
No.
I think
It's
They're
just,
doing
just
Luke
Iron
Cage,
Fist is going to
Luke
be.
Cage, Iron
I think
Fist.
what they're not going to do is do any more Iron Fist and just leave it.
Yes.
Leave him as a recur. I would hope that that's what they do.
They're gonna do like probably like a team up all the time
Sure.
with him coming.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yes.
You save some money and you have them
Because
together because they belong together. Like,
But it was a weak character that they put on that series, and they didn't do a very good job on his
on Iron Fist.
Yes.
No, that was the worst one by far.
Yes, they
By
didn't do
million.
a good job on it. So I'm guessing
Yeah, I think that's a better option.
Better
You
option.
didn't. We were talking about it in the group chat. You weren't into Runaways, huh?
I really didn't get into it very much either.
I enjoyed
I mean,
it.
it was okay, but I lost interest, and then after I lost interest, I didn't have a way of watching it anyway, so I didn't bother following up.
Oh, I liked it.
And you hear the petition of people doing for Inhumans.
But why?
That's what I say. Why
I mean, if it
for second season in Inhumans?
So
it's such a bad show.
So I watched
horrible.
the whole thing.
Okay, I
So you
only
subjected
watched
yourself
first
to
and
it.
second episode.
I tormented myself because I felt that I owed it to Black Bolt, who's my favorite character of that group, right?
Did you
Like,
have to like put tape on your eyelids?
no, listen, the acting was either the worst thing you've ever seen or pretty good, depending on like the chick who played Medusa. She did fine. She played her character really well. The guy who played Karnak, Chinito, he was good. The dude who played Gorgon was bad, and the girl who played Crystal was worse. I'm sorry, you're cute and all, but you were
right, it's just bad acting.
El Terrible. And obviously the costuming left a lot to be desired.
Right.
But that being said, those characters are so important to Marvel in general,
Right.
that I don't think you should just go out like that.
They should have just done a big budget, man. They
Granted,
should have
but
done
that
a
was
big
some
budget
studio
movie.
beef between
True.
Feige and Jeff Loeb or whatever, and whoever his name
I'm
is.
surprised
But
it
I
came
mean-
out that soon because the whole movie of Inhumans was supposed to be like what 2-3 years from now.
No, well,
So
no,
the
because it
show-
kept getting
the
pushed.
show
It kept getting pushed
Right.
back. Originally, it was supposed to come out in this slot in the Black Panther.
But
slot.
I mean, don't you have some kind of quality control, man? I mean,
But there's the TV
It's completely
people.
separate from-
They don't get run by the same guy, which is
Right.
the problem. Like they should just hand that over to Feige also and let him do. Because originally, remember, the plan was that would all be interconnected, and now it's loosely woven.
Right.
So whatever. But
Agents
I
of
hear-
Shield
and I
is
hear-
definitely connected to
you
it,
know-
though, isn't it?
yeah, it
There's
They
storylines,
mentioned-
right. There's tie-ins and there's
Right.
mentions. And
You know that I read something that ABC is shopping for another show for superheroes. ABC, the same one that they
That does
Inhumans.
Shield.
that does Shield.
Yes,
and Inhumans.
yes.
How about Gifted? Have you guys watched Gifted?
I watched Gifted. I watched.
I got to the third
I
episode.
haven't watched the last episode,
Got to the third.
but I watched. every
Damn, we
single
can't talk
one.
about the
Something
others.
good happens, man.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, I heard-
There's a kick-ass reveal in the second to last or third to last episode that carries you through. Yo,
It's good.
When they
Don't
came
get
out-
me wrong, it's good.
when they came out, I was like, yo,
But that's why because I watched Gifted the first time, and then I watched The Runaways the second time. I was like, this kind of looks.
That's
similar.
It's a
It was very
totally.
similar.
It's a totally. It
Yes,
is, but
it's
it's a totally
totally.
different show.
I understand, but both
You
of
ended
them
up
are
watching all
running.
of Runaways?
No,
No, I only watched
I
one
did.
episode.
I did.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very.
I know, right? I don't know how. I don't know how you have
Jesus
that.
Christ, man.
And you caught up on Dragon Ball Super.
You know what time I watched Dragon Ball Super last night? 2:30 in the morning, Playboy. 'Cause I was playing Overwatch last night till like 2. 8, bro. That boy's up like, yo, breakfast, daddy. At 8 o'clock.
Did you catch on the new cosmetics on Overwatch yet?
Yeah, I already bought the new Reaper skin,
Yeah.
but the one I like better is the one from the Overwatch League.
Uh-huh.
I got his golden guns last night because
Oh,
like
did
an
you?
all black suit for one of the
I haven't-
teams, and the golden gun is gangster.
I haven't played it lately, man.
And I got the Orisa Immortal skin. So
I've been obsessing through Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's what.
Yo, shake and bake.
Shake and bake, bro. Shake and bake all day.
Oh my bad.
But
I still gotta go. I gotta check that one out, man.
some
I
of
haven't played it on the
online
Switch.
are just ridiculous, man.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
It always happens. You're in first place, and somehow you end up in last.
Yes,
Well, I mean that's the beauty of
around
it.
the last bend.
but that's Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's how
Mario
much.
So
Kart
I
is
gotta
always
hold on.
like that.
I gotta read
No, but
you
then
this real
you
quick.
keep focusing on guys' names, and somehow they're always still in first or third place. I don't know how they do it, dude. It's ridiculous.
So I saw this meme on internet the other day. It says, "Remember playing Mario Kart and thinking you were in first place until you realized you were looking at the wrong screen and actually crashing into walls." That's adulthood.
Yeah, that's happened. That's
happened.
hilarious.
That's happening.
Yeah,
so, I know Black Panther is coming up.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks, no? Two?
mean, yeah, we
2
already
weeks?
have tickets.
We already got tickets.
It's another
We're
NERDOS
gonna
field trip.
yes, we're gonna do a review out of that movie too.
I might not be able to make that one.
Soft.
Well, for one thing, I have a course that weekend. Anyway, I have a continuing education course all weekend, and it's just about
Skip
a
school,
week.
bro.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
can't, man.
It's okay. You're
I've
grown.
already- I've already
They're
signed
not,
up
they're not
for
gonna
it.
put you in CSI.
I can't. And it's freaking the weekend right after Valentine's Day, man.
Soft.
It's a tough weekend.
Soft.
Valentine's before.
Bro, how long you been married already, bro? You earned them stripes
know.
already.
It's
I
tough.
told my wife, I said, listen, Playboy. Valentine's Days, you come in the
Friday
movies
night.
to be in the Nerdos to go
Babe.
watch Black
Hang on,
Panther.
let me run it by her real quick.
Friday night.
Can we go see Black Panther for Valentine's Day? Okay, then we're good.
Sarcasm.
She
is
said,
seeping through the
I
mic.
know. Did you hear that? Of course.
And you saw that Deadpool 2 was pushed forward.
Yes,
I did see
and
that.
New Mutants got
New
pushed
Mutants
back.
got pushed
I wonder that kind of bugged me out. I'm not quite sure why New. I mean, I
It's back
understand.
a year.
I understand logistically, like there's just movies that I guess that they didn't want it to compete with.
Right.
Yes.
But
New
again,
Mutants wouldn't be a
But
a summer
actually,
movie.
Deadpool is coming 2 weeks before
2 weeks before Infinity War.
Infinity War. So I was like, what? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, May's gonna be.
It's gonna
But
hurt.
my-
it's gonna
but
hurt
my
Deadpool
whole-
It's gonna
after
hurt
the third
Deadpool.
week.
my whole thing is, in the frame of the whole merger now, like everything that happens now, like I frame it, I watch it through that lens.
Right.
So like, what's the end game behind that? You know what I mean? Because New Mutants
There's gotta be a purpose,
for it being a Fox thing actually doesn't look too bad.
Well, it's an interesting twist. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's different than what you would normally expect. So
They
I
wanna
think
get the
that looks
horror
cool.
effect and all that. And I read somewhere that the reason it got pushed back is because they want to try and make it even scarier. Even though it's not gonna be, I don't think they're gonna
Rated
be
R. No.
But they are trying to make it more horror like.
Isn't Black
So-
Panther already got the rating? What is it?
Black Panther. should be-
PG-13.
Yeah, it's PG-13. Yeah.
Man.
What's up, bud?
Booty.
Booty Brew.
Go there.
No.
Hit A again.
For people that they're not watching us through the YouTube channel, we're watching Jose's boy playing Dragon Ball.
He's playing. He's playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Dragon Ball Fighters. I don't know what you would call it. I call it Fighter Z. But anyway,
Fighter Z.
are we getting into that yet, or are we talking about anything else before we
Whatever you
start
want.
talking about that?
Oh,
guys
there you
tell
go.
me.
I got it.
What?
The
Did you want to talk
Venom.
about? Oh, Venom. Okay.
So
Oh, Venom.
I read that there's going to be an appearance by.
that's
By Tom
there you go.
Holland.
God,
Yeah, by
see?
Tom Holland.
That's why you might.
Yes.
I read that too.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
did you see the two storylines they said that they were basing the movie out from?
Yes.
No.
It's Lethal Protector.
Oh, Lethal Protector,
and-
Protector
okay, yeah.
and Venomverse.
So I know nothing about those comics.
Well, Lethal
so yeah,
Protector
want to school me a
was
little bit.
okay. So Lethal Protector was
Isn't that where he was like a vigilante? And
right. He was
But
basically
it's still Eddie Brock.
yeah.
It's not
yeah,
Matt Guardian.
No, it's
or
Eddie
anybody.
Brock. But he was like a bad guy
It's a
that.
good storyline.
Sorry, he was a good guy that killed bad guys, basically. You
Okay.
know? So that
So
was kind of the
Punisher.
idea. But I don't feel like they can do a character like Venom without having Spider-Man in it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, how can you do it? You can't.
I'd be shocked if there wasn't any tie, and they have to. I mean, because now the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie, as we know, was Sony and Marvel together
Right.
in the MCU. So how can they not bring in Venom into the MCU?
Yeah.
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 And then kind of related to Venom was that we were talking about in the group chat was the Red Goblin. Have you guys seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
But that's in comics.
Yeah, in the comics. Yeah, I know, but
Yes.
we're nerds, so we talk
no,
comics.
do the other one, man.
Yes.
So
I post a lot of the comics that
Yes.
come out.
Yeah, yeah.
So pick a
If
different- pick a
anybody
different one then.
following our channel in Instagram or Facebook, we put a lot of news from the comics. That's more the stuff that we have.
so
Yeah.
Norman Osborn gets the Carnage symbiote,
Yes.
Ooh.
and it looks gangsta.
Yeah.
It's Red
Oh,
Goblin.
okay, that's the one you that's the
Yeah.
picture.
And then the other thing was the Ghost Rider.
The
Future guy.
Cosmic
Thanos.
Ghost
Cosmic
Rider.
Ghost Rider.
A Cosmic Ghost Rider. But that's in the Thanos storyline from 2016 until now. That's the comic that has been running.
That's an ongoing line.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, in a short version, is Thanos from the future. So it's called King Thanos. So King Thanos is probably, I don't know, 1,000 or more than 1,000 years in the future, and he's pretty much the ruler of the universe.
Nice,
There's pretty much nobody
Left to challenge him.
left to challenge him.
amazing.
But the storyline hasn't given us.
Does he have the gauntlet or no?
No,
no.
It hasn't given us a lot of things to pick on it because it's just recently that we get this storyline that he's in the future, you know. So he's bringing his past person, which is Thanos that we know, to the future.
Yeah, he makes some time travel. or
Yeah,
something.
he
I
time
read that.
traveled, and this is when he meets the Ghost Rider, which is his hero. And we don't get what happened to Galactus.
I like how
something
Thanos
happened.
has a herald.
Yes, Thanos, because he's supposed to be his hero from Galactus, and something happened in the battle that he became the hero of Thanos.
Of Thanos.
So we don't know yet. The next comic book that's coming up, probably we're gonna see some more hints or a little more of the story.
And it just got revealed that he is.
Frank Castle.
Frank Castle, yes.
That's
Frank
crazy. Castle, Ghost Rider, and a herald of Thanos.
Well, there's
Yes.
another. You saw about War Machine being Frank
And
Castle
not only
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
let
that
me
was
finish.
pretty cool.
And not only that, the cool thing about it is that he has Hulk, and Hulk is his dog.
He's like his pet or whatever.
and the Ghost
That's
Rider,
crazy.
the Ghost Rider fits him, because he fits him. And there's a page on the comic book that he goes, it's like, oh, this is the leftovers from King Thanos, and he's like, I'm gonna feed the dog. So he goes walking all his fucking castle, and then he drops the food to the fucking Hulk.
great.
And Hulk, the only thing that wants for anything out of this, he just wants everybody
wants to die.
to kill him.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
for
so
sure.
old and everything.
crazy.
He's like, kill me.
That's awesome, dude. I mean,
So he's been
you would know
tormented
better,
for
but
God
it
knows
seems
how long.
it seems from somebody who I haven't read read them full on in a long time.
Yes.
It seems like they're in a better place now than they were a few years ago.
Depends on who's running the comic books and who, the writers and things like that, because it gets to a big mess.
Right.
And this is what always
Well,
had
Because
happened to
Avengers,
me.
I mean, was it X-Men versus Inhumans? To me, seemed like a really dumb storyline.
But now, quick thing though. I mean, this is meant to be an alternate reality, correct? It's not in the main continuity.
To tell you the truth, I don't know,
Because I mean, if the Hulk is super old and beat up and stuff,
What's the
I mean,
future?
it's gotta be the
Not
future.
necessarily-
Yeah.
Maybe it's not necessarily an alternate
Yes.
reality.
Okay,
Maybe
but
just-
it's way in the future
Way in the
at the very
future.
least.
yes.
So I mean, I guess I could see where they can go in those directions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are definitely a bunch of different timelines and things that happen where.
You sure it's not Thanos 2099?
No.
That's not that distant future anymore.
That's not too far. So,
No, you did say 1,000 years.
yeah.
More than 1,000 years, I think it is. Yeah.
So.
I've been doing the countdown. I mentioned that to you guys.
Oh, for the
The
movies?
watching
I,
all the
start, I
movies.
started.
Oh,
it.
Lord.
So I did watch
I'm
Iron Man
behind,
2
though.
times because
But
it's
still the
just
best movie.
Awesome. I still think, and from every movie that we all know, and we've made the same comment about how they mirror the villain or whatever. I mean, that's how it is in the comic books, regardless, until Thanos comes around. But when I just watched Thor yesterday, dude, Hiddleston's just a man. I love
Yeah,
him.
Loki.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so awesome. That scene where,
But he makes the movie.
right? Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
actually,
When
if
he's talking to the
if you-
crowd?
if
No,
you take,
the scene where he's talking to Odin,
Yes.
and Odin is telling him about his past, dude, I was like, I like almost shed a tear. I was like, this guy's fucking awesome, dude. The way he just comes out and he freaking
But they're both such
portrays
good
the character.
actors too, man.
Yeah, dude, he's just so powerful with
but
his fucking performance.
what I'm saying is that Thor 1 is kind of like the weakest movie out of Marvel.
But that's what they-
that
Crazy,
world.
man. That
In
movie was great.
let me explain. In that time, when they came out, and if you take
Well, that's
middle
how people
tone,
looked at it.
you take it out of the equation, out of the movie's garbage, probably.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yes.
obviously because the way it ties things together.
Yes.
I thought Thor 2 was crap.
Okay, well,
That was the one. That was the
going
one I
back to
didn't
what Alonso was saying, how it was seen as like the weakest MCU movie. Did you guys finally watch that video, the one about how Thor is the best movie? Did you watch it?
I was thinking about that while watching the movie, but I haven't watched that.
Okay, you got to watch it because the guy
It's
makes
about
some
how it
very good
explains.
points.
Yeah,
He makes some
yes.
very good points,
And
and
I'm-
he also explains how Loki is really not a bad guy. Like he's really not a villain. He just wants to gain the approval of Odin as his son. You know, like he always feels
He's
like
a bad guy.
Dude,
He brings the
he wants to
Chitauri.
be
Okay,
He
but
wants
that's
to kill
later.
Odin. He
We're
eventually
talking-
wants to kill
That's
Odin.
later, though. I'm
Okay.
talking about
In
within
Thor
Thor.
1.
You know,
Oh,
within
okay.
Thor, where his main goal is not necessarily to be king or this or that. He just wants to gain the approval of Odin.
But dude,
Anyhow.
he toward the
Ultimately, he
more
becomes a
end of the
villain.
movie, yeah, he wants
Ultimately, he
to
becomes a
kill
villain. But
Odin.
again, watch
So-
watch that video, man. I
will
texted it
watch
to you guys so you could see it, and of course, nothing. So, fuckers.
I'll probably watch
It
Captain
gets
America
drowned.
too.
It probably got drowned in the 765 messages that
Yesterday
have
I
been
was
exchanged since.
140
Hey,
behind.
when I came from a trip, every time that I have internet or anything, your message will come in 78, 60 message, something like that. I was
And you're like, what?
Oh my goodness.
And that's what I was
and
telling my
all,
buddy
about,
at
and
work.
all about Amber Heard.
Yes.
Shout out to Raul.
Shout out to Raul. Because he's in love with Amber Heard and every single girl out there, I think. Because everything he calls
Always
it
something.
dips. Everything
Not-
he
not-
calls
He likes Brie
dips
Larson.
on everything.
not Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Not Maggie Gyllenhaal.
All right, so Dragon Balls.
Okay,
Yes.
well, did you want to hit up Dragon Ball Super at all, real quick?
So yeah, the one thing about Dragon Ball Super that I've enjoyed the show, particularly from where you're at.
So, from
going
Goku
forward,
Black,
yeah, because
going
like the
forward.
other stuff, you pretty much was a longer
Well, it was a rehash of the movies.
of the movies. So the Goku Black thing, you know, some people didn't like how that ended, but you'll see.
Okay.
This tournament,
It's interesting.
this
but anyway.
tournament that they're in right now is so G. It is, and the fighting, whatever. My whole thing is that I heard that once the tournament ends, the series ends. One of the animators
That's
came
what I
out.
read, and I read the same.
So
Wow.
that kind of bummed me out because it's like, then what's the point of the tournament?
It's just to see who's the best, basically.
But pretty much.
But the thing is that the tournament they establish stakes in the beginning. If your
And is this-
universe loses, your universe gets deleted from existence.
This is the Zen O tournament?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know,
No idea.
Mo
There's-
has no idea what we're talking about,
there's-
but too bad for him.
they have this. They brought all there's like 12 universes.
I never even watched the original show.
Okay, there's like 12 universes, and each one has their own god and their own god of destruction. And then there's one god who's the universal god of everybody.
Right.
And he hosted this tournament, and it's like a 10 on 10 on 10 on 10, whatever, royal
teams,
battle
basically.
royal. And if all 10 of your guys get eliminated, your universe gets erased from existence.
That's some high stakes.
So now you're down to like 2 universes, right? The Goku, whatever one that we know, and this other one with some really kick-ass dudes. And like if after this tournament's over nothing happens, then we just watched all this shit for nothing.
Just to see everybody else get destroyed, basically.
Just to see universes get wiped out of existence.
Well, but I mean, isn't that what a god does? They just let things play out, or maybe not intervene and just let things happen.
Yeah, dude, but like but there's storylines that they had set up for like the whole thing was if you win, you get to use the Super Dragon Balls, which are like all powerful, to make whatever wish you want.
This is storyline by Akira Toriyama.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, yeah. So like Vegeta has like a very specific purpose for why he wants to like the wish that he wants to make. Right, is to bring back one of the other universes because he's got like a protege there that he wants to.
Is that the little kid, the little Saiyan kid?
And so there's things that there's like, all right, so after this is over, we'll see where it goes. Like I thought as I was watching it, and you're not whatever. I thought that they were setting it up to that the angel guys like Whis and all his brethren. I thought they were setting up for them to be the next bad guys. Since they're all so crazy powerful.
I mean, so I think what's interesting about at least the dynamic of what I've seen so far is Beerus, and what's his brother's name again? Champa. So they're the gods of destruction, and they're basically uber powerful. But then Whis is Beerus' teacher.
Yeah.
So
Whis is his daddy.
Which what I imagine means that Whis is way even more powerful.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's an interesting dynamic because everybody thinks that Whis is the god, or they mistaken him as being the god, and then it's really Beerus who it is. And I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic. But
and the dude like the grand priest of all the angels that sets up the whole tournament thing for Zeno, like he just looks like an asshole. So like it was an easy jump for me to make to look at him and be like, oh, that's the next.
So is there a true villain right now yet, or not really?
No, right now
it's just them playing it out.
Yeah, it's just the tournament playing out.
I'm working on catching up on it because I've been a Dragon Ball fan for.
So we're gonna give a review of the Dragon Ball.
Well, I wouldn't call it
Fighters.
I wouldn't call it so much a review as much as it's more like impressions.
I'm reading it as Dragon Ball Fighters.
Okay.
Because it's not set.
Fighters.
Okay.
Hang on.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Wait, I didn't finish my thing about the MCU, about the countdown.
Oh, Jesus.
Do it.
I have to go back to that real quick. So,
right.
with the whole thing with Iron Man, and I watched it twice.
Close it up.
And with Iron Man or whatever, same fucking bullshit mirror type of technology because he's trying to steal it from him, obviously. Mm-hmm. Then when I got to the Hulk, what the hell happened to the leader, dude? They just completely wrote him off. The dude that gets a little blood in his head
he never came back on him.
It's like, damn, what the hell happened?
Well, it's because they don't have the rights to make the Hulk standalone movie, so.
That's right, because of Universal.
Right.
Because of the whole, that crap.
Does anybody go? No, sorry. Go ahead.
And then when I got to Iron Man 2, the introduction of the Black Widow, amazing.
She's so
that was the best thing ever.
That scene.
Back to Iron Man, Yinsen, rest in peace. Most important character in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe because without him, Iron Man doesn't live.
Who, Agent Coulson?
No,
Yinsen. The dude in the cave that helps Iron Man become Iron Man.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Most important character ever.
That's right.
What is it? Not all superheroes wear capes?
Exactly.
That's right.
And then I did catch a line that I never caught in the previous Thor movie where he calls Agent Coulson son of Cole.
Yeah.
I was dying, dude. I never caught that
son
line.
Of Cole, that's right.
I was dying. But yeah, Thor was awesome.
Thor was awesome.
Vikings is awesome.
All right. So real quick intro on what we were gonna do. So again, this is a game that I'm not this specific game, but this is the type of game that I've been waiting for years and years and years and years. I know
they have been always been.
Well, let me get to that. Mm-hmm. So you're a fighting game fan. You're a fighting game fan. You're kind of a fighting game fan. I've been a fan since the original Street Fighter 2.
I guess because we always like that. You're so used to that engine,
right? Well, I've been a fan of those types of games. Street Fighter, freaking Art of Fighting, King of Fighters, fucking Samurai Showdown, Night Warriors.
Showdown was such a pain in the.
Oh, but it was so good. Night Warriors, Marvel vs. Capcom.
I don't know what Night Warriors.
Darkstalkers.
Never played it.
Never played it? Awesome game. Awesome. It's basically Universal Monsters meets Street Fighter.
Yeah, I know she's from Darkstalker. I just never played it.
Yeah, a great game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marvel vs. Capcom, all those games, and there's been Dragon Ball games that have been like the 2D, 3D, whatever. But the whole time I was like, wouldn't it be awesome if like Capcom got a hold of Dragon Ball and just put a game together? Now, next best thing. So this is Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I picked it up on Friday. My wife was awesome enough to pre-order it for me for Christmas.
Yeah. We have it for Xbox.
What is cool? Okay, so it's Bandai Namco, but it was done by Arc System Works, who did the Guilty Gear series and Blaze Blue series.
I love Guilty Gears.
And those games are awesome.
Soul Bad Guy. First
Blaze
of all,
Blue is
Soul Bad Guy has got to be one of the greatest names of a character ever.
Yeah.
The soundtrack to those games is always amazing.
It's amazing rock, freaking hardcore, heavy metal.
And
Is it
just
exclusive to Xbox?
his
No,
power
no, it's
level is so sick.
Yeah. So those games were fantastic. So it's developed by Arc System Works. Again, a game that I've been waiting for it to be done this way for a long time. So anyway, so my wife pre-ordered it for me for Christmas. Thanks, babe. It was pretty awesome. Day 1 edition includes the downloadable Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan, Goku, and Vegeta. And then I got this little,
Someone's gonna be like, the who, what?
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Blue, yo, just Super Saiyan Blue.
And then the cool Super Saiyan Blue Goku minifig that came with it. Pretty awesome. So anyway, we're just gonna really
Why is always Goku? Why
not Vegeta?
So disrespectful.
Yeah, they should do Vegeta.
My favorite
Vegeta.
character.
Yeah. So we're just gonna hit up the gameplay for a little bit and do some matches and give some impressions. I gotta say what's pretty cool about it is that it looks amazing. It's like watching the anime. It looks freaking cool.
I gotta say that. As you guys know, you guys used to watch.
Mo's never played it
all the time. I'd be like, I'm out. I don't want to watch this bullshit.
Right.
But it looks cool because I like the anime, and the fucking video game looks pretty damn good.
It looks fantastic. The voice acting, you can choose between the English and the Japanese, which I think is awesome. It's easy to pick up, but it's difficult to really get good at it. So what's cool about it is you can pick it up pretty quickly and at least pull off some combos and stuff like that. And anyway, so we're gonna hit that up now.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. How do I win? I need to just post that.
Give me a second. Last shout out. What do you have?
Any shout outs?
You have your podcast that's coming up.
We're doing a live stream for the Royal Rumble.
That's
so
right.
kind of like similar to what we're gonna do now. We're gonna kind of just do. It's our first
Commentary
attempt
on Royal
at a video.
Where they could find you?
I don't know where we're gonna put the. I think we're gonna do it on Instagram Live.
Okay.
So it's at Back of the Bus Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know where else we're gonna.
This
publish
episode probably is not gonna come out the day that we're filming it. It's gonna come out the next day probably. So most likely, if you follow him in Instagram. You have iTunes.
We're on iTunes. You can just search Back of the Bus. It's on Google Play. It's on the new episodes are on SoundCloud and on Podbean also.
Yes.
You
check
guys
it
have
out.
missed out a few weeks, right? Because weren't you guys doing a weekly?
Well, we were doing weekly during Thrones. Then we went to bi-weekly, but then we had a couple of times where, we're parents, we're old, shit happens.
We haven't been together in 2 months.
I know.
Yes.
So the last episode that we put out was right before New Year's.
Shout out to that. I was listening to it the other day. Good Call an album of the year. Fucking awesome.
Though, can I tell you I fucked up?
What was that?
That album actually was in 2016.
Was it?
It was in November 20. It was Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Hardwired. Was it 2016?
Post-op, I was like, damn, I gotta fact check myself. But you know what? It was still the best album of 2017 because nothing else came out that was any good.
Yes.
Well,
good call on that.
Not heavy metal.
Yes.
No, period.
And we have
I could always argue with
Guillermo. You could follow him in Instagram too. And
Of course, Most Life.
Most Life.
7.
You can follow us. Jose too has another page.
I have
Shout out to Livebrain.
I have an open page, Super Muay Thai Brothers.
Yes,
we post.
You can see it.
Yeah,
Super Muay Thai Brothers. I did not know that.
Yeah. If you want to follow me up on that.
Yes, if you guys are into Muay Thai or into martial arts.
I just haven't put it in there. Well, yeah, we just basically post. I'll post about fights. I'll post about I'll do little posts on like what we do training wise and stuff like that.
It's my worst angle.
Things like that. So Guillermo's always in the background. I'm just kidding. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out too, that'd be cool.
If you find us for the first time, please press on the follow up button and press on the little bell if you want the notifications on it. We're in Instagram at NERDOS, Facebook NERDOS. You can follow us and find us in iTunes too and Podbean, YouTube, of course. And thank you guys. We're gonna put the video of us playing, and then after that is we're out. So we probably see you back in a couple weeks, no?
Black
Yeah,
Panther.
after
Yeah, Black Panther's coming out, so
We never did the Star Wars review.
no, because we didn't want to get into the Star Wars because we know we're gonna go into this
Yeah, that's like
That's
a,
a
black
huge
hole
discussion.
of like discussion.
And anything that we would say at this point has probably been
franchise
said by
going
everybody
down.
anyway.
Yes.
So.
Franchise is going down under, man.
no, you're
Going
bugging.
down.
That movie was fine.
Yes.
That movie was
All right.
perfectly fine.
All right, guys.
And
See ya. Bye bye.
Vegeta.
Oh, what music? What kind of music options? I just keep putting it on auto. I don't know. I guess it just said. I wonder if it has like the actual the humanity music. Yeah, Bruce Faulkner. Shit. Oh my god, it's so great. I guess we can look at it next time. For next match. I'm really not sure. But again, the music's very similar to like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear.
Oh, Guilty Gear, they actually had like Ride the Lightning.
No.
Yeah, dude. In Guilty Gear X, whatever. For the kid in the.
Like they licensed it for it?
Dude, it started.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Damn. I must have not played that.
It was the one for PS2. And for the guy, what's his name? The guy who has his name is called Ride the Lightning. I remember his
I
name.
can't remember his name either. I haven't played those games in a long time.
The only one I remember, the only name I remember is Soul Bag.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, look. Chopping up like always.
Hi, Mano.
Oh, I can do that. Oh, look, what's up, Pops? Oh, right into that. What's up, Unc? Wow.
Oh, I missed that one. Shit. Ah!
Oh.
Ouch. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Did I miss that again?
Ow! Hi, Mama. No! I remember into that. God damn. Oh.
God. Oh. Cool. It's child abuse, right? Child abuse, son. Oh wow. Oh. No? Yeah, the graphics are amazing. Have you tried to? Oh! Oh! What's that? Oh no!
He's about to die, that's why he has that.
Please tell me. Yes! It's so satisfying. It's my favorite movie. I don't like that he doesn't have his Gallic ring. I haven't seen it. Did. That was the Final Flash.
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, with Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Blue. Yeah. I did.
That's why they once.
So look, it's light, medium, hard. This is energy attacks. They use to switch. If you tap it, they assist. If you hold it, they switch. And then with this one, we with these two, this is a rush where they grab and they start doing a combo, and this is a rush where they can fly through projectiles, and then it hits the other person and you start doing stuff. This is more like a grab, so if they're blocking, you do this, you grab them.
So or rather they do one of those to make sure like our
Click it and then power up really quick. This is to charge your meter, and this is to teleport behind the other person, but it picks up one of the meters.
oh, so go back to that.
And then you fly to the field. That's just the move. You can either do this one or this one. Is
Do they always fight together? Are they one character?
Yeah, they're one character.
Yeah.
Yeah, them two are one character. So they'll try some of your attacks. And if you do like X X X X X X X, they keep doing a combo. Same thing with Y or B, and then you can just kind of mix and match them. So like this is all my X combo. I'm just hitting X the whole time. So if you do X, go do X.
Seeing the video of the
Oh,
yeah, like like you see, I'm trying to put up a different Loki, it just shows the screenshot of the shit.
like that with A, and then if you do it with this one, he does a super command. And then if you go back, he does something else. I think he does the flash command. Do a backward fireball with this one. Again. So when they come, we're still gonna do like the Umbrella. We're still gonna do like Mark's throwback Mario Kart. Yeah, man. Full bloom, attorney, and put it up on NERDOS. We sure. Like the whole turn, like the whole night. Record up, record them crazy, screaming and stuff. And then top of it, 300. Wow. Top load dumb. Bro. So I don't know if the. Will it grab you? I don't know if it's no. Switch out. Yeah. You have bro, that shit has 260 breaks. That shit is absurd. You have to break every turn. But it's cool because the way the game obviously plays, they took away that whole shit like showing you like they can spin off. Most of that. I like the one anti-gravity like change over or what where you kind of what we need to yeah, you don't fucking necessarily like get really destroyed. Yeah. Oh Jesus. But just trying you're basically getting power and you're taking off players on and then everybody wants to show up. So the guys on first and second place, they just fucking oh, that happens to me. So I was playing, I can never get away. I can normally make that Jesus match motion but in Overwatch, you play. Yes, I am. Because I want to just destroy myself. And all you have to do is stop for yesterday, there's a guy who had like a 6 kilometer. And I'm in the second. I'm like, he's gonna win. It's first to win. He's 6 up and let me kill him. Because every time I beat him, I live. Everybody else behind just can't control up and whatever the face you do. Oh, you know, okay. Yeah, I actually love it. Nice. That's pretty awesome. Nice. Oh. Ah.
No!
I have to eat you.
No!
You're already perfect cell, so you can't. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Basically you. Ah. Ah! You got me. Alright, I see that now, like he's all nothing, so. Go well. More than I want to try. Go,